Welcome to the fourth episode of the, which is still the second session in real life of the One Ring RPG, Laughter of Dragons. Spoiler alert: this is Laughter of Dragons, so there is content from that book. So if you're playing Laughter of Dragons, thinking about playing Laughter of Dragons, then be aware that this could spoil. There is additional stuff in, and I am reordering bits and pieces. So it might be that if you're thinking you're later down the line than we are, it could still be a little bit of spoilers or what have you. And on the third point, I would be surprised. And this I have seen the insignia of this before, but not for many years, and never this far north.
Kuldrim, have you encountered orcs from Dol Guldur before? It is an evil place from the legends. Its name alone is filled with mystery and horror.
Aye, so I hear. I know that the elves fear it, in particular, but I have not really fought them, not extensively. There have been clashes, but my focus has more been trying to reclaim the land of the Longbeards, Khazad-dûm. So I fight orcs of Moria and the Goblin King.
Khazad-dûm?
Aye.
You seek to reclaim Khazad-dûm?
I seek to reclaim my birthright. But it is an undertaking that is beyond me and my men. And at the moment, my focus is upon killing the cold Drake Raynar, he who slew my brother. And we will not make the same mistakes as we did before when we go forth again.
You face great peril in facing a cold Drake, Kuldrim. I've seen the damage they can cause. They ravaged many clans in the Grey Mountains for many years. My father was wary of the cold drakes and moved us along the mountainsides to escape them.
And that displacement of our people is what motivates me to fight against them. That, and of course the treasures that they are known to possess. And with that treasure, then I will be able to rouse a fighting band much greater. And perhaps even you, Loftar, would put your axe, your mattock, behind the reclaiming of our ancestral homeland.
That always remains a possibility, my friend.
I would be proud to have you at our side, and your companion Torg, son of Tordek, also.
It will be an honor to fight with you again.
But now, what is it that I can do for you? You have done all dwarven kind a service with these orcs.
Kuldrim, perhaps having dwarves alongside you to help with this cold Drake Raynar would be beneficial to you now. How many dwarves do you have in your band here?
There are 12 of us at the moment. 3 are veterans. The remainder are eager but lack experience.
I know that problem myself.
You face a challenge.
I feel confident enough when I speak for myself and my 2 companions that we would be proud to accompany you and learn from you and your brothers. But perhaps it would help you as well if we were to uncover this threat to Dale and to Erebor and the King Dane that lies in the marshlands, holding up one of the insignias.
What is it that you propose, Torg? For I feel that there is a bargain that is about to be attempted.
say you, Coldrim, dwarf of action, if you help us to head out and find the rest of these orcs in the marshlands and the men who are conniving with them, and a certain hobbit who goes by the name of Clovis. If we can rid the marshes and Dale of this threat, then we will accompany you and slay your cold drake alongside you and your dwarves.
A hobbit. He looks a little incredulous.
Aye.
Your
A
threat
deceptive.
is a hobbit.
These are strange times indeed.
Well,
Let's have a persuade
wasn't
roll.
the okay. Isn't the fact that Thorin's burglar was chosen precisely because of his abilities to be sneaky and deceptive? Surely there's a lesson to be learned there.
There is.
So I am not persuasive. Torg has no skill points in
Okay,
persuasion.
so how do you want to then kind of how do you want to, because you were attempting to bargain with them and to try to dangle a carrot to persuade him to join your force. So
Okay.
Is there a
So my-
different approach that we want to use?
So my chosen skill would be inspire
Okay.
or riddle. So I feel like I could kind of riddle my way through this somehow. This is why I'm kind of trying to hint at the Smaug and and Bilbo's story.
Okay, so you're trying to kind of bring into play all these different facts as part of the act of persuading him, bring him to his own conclusion that would be beneficial and so on.
Yeah,
so
well,
certainly for the point. For the point about the burglar, riddle would be appropriate. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So the whole fact that this Longo is never seen yet posited as this hidden threat that hides in the hills and the marshes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Riddle. Go.
Okay. Cool. So I'm going to use. I've got 2 in riddle. I'm going to use. Oh. I have 2 success dice, 2 bonus dice.
Yep.
I'm going to use both of them.
Okay.
I'll throw it.
Yeah, good call.
There's a 6. There's a 6 on the feet die, so I have 12, 14, 17, 18 with the great success.
18. Great. Okay.
And what am I doing? So 18 great would get me the 2nd advancement point if this passes.
It passes.
Okay, cool.
This is a story for the ages, perhaps. Part of my surprise was I'd met this Clovis, and he talked so convincingly.
He does
was
he
word
not?
of Longo.
Aye, all part of the act.
And there is,
but the leader of this band of orcs that we slew in the marshes, Cauldron, spoke of Longo the Hobbit. Are there other hobbits here in Dale? I've not seen any.
No, neither have I, nor have my men. I'm sure there has been talk of our camp. I will put my shoulder behind the endeavour, for if we are able to defeat the allies of orcs, then it will stand us in good stead with a king under the mountain. We do not need to talk of them led by a hobbit. We just need to talk of them led by a bandit lord in league with the orcs from the south. And in exchange, you say, you and your companions will be sworn to aid me when my time comes. I would like Loftar in particular. And if you can talk and lead as well as you've been able to talk and lead in this conversation, Torg, you would be welcome also under my command.
So I bow deeply and sign again with English. We are greatly thankful to you, Cauldron, and I cannot speak for Loftar, but I know in my heart that that his desire to rid this place of evil will be enough to have him by your side.
Aye. Loftar, you can speak for yourself.
Yes, I can. That's true. But Torg speaks the truth. From myself, I can say that this task is important, not just for me, because it would help establish some of our old trade routes, bring us back together, perhaps put us a little bit more on the map with Dane. You know how it goes. The trade can sometimes be a challenge. So it's important to build good reputation in the local area. But more importantly, I see this as an opportunity for us to finally get together in battle, and let's do it this way, where if you help us now, then I will join your band, as it was the other way around. We intended long time ago, but I can promise you I'll fight for you if you do this for us. And
my recollection a long while ago, Loftar, was that you would be joining my band to slay a drake. You wanted me to join your band to slay some orcs. But
that's right.
At that moment in time, I had a band, and you were just banned from all of the taverns of the place, as I recall.
That is you speak the truth.
Aye.
But nonetheless, it was worthy. It was a worthy effort. And I yield this time.
Let us leave old tunnels to be abandoned and ruined as we forge new tunnels ahead, and put the past behind us.
Aye. So if you find this Clovis and where he and whatever creatures he calls allies are, then when the time comes, me and my men will aid you in uprooting him. I've heard that there are tricksy hobbitses in the wilds, and this would be an occasion where we can join forces to defeat that shadow. Let us drink.
Good help. Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of made the wrong. I made some poor choices.
Oh.
Could be worse. Could be milk.
But this is a driver's beer, so that's
okay,
it's a mirage.
Mine's not.
Fair enough. Okay. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Into the marketplace. So as you kind of head up into the marketplace, lots of traders about. It's a normal market day. There's various kind of like late harvest fruits and vegetables moving across into the squashes. And some late summer tomatoes and so on. Some of the first apples that have kind of come from the orchards coming through. Some casks of cider available. The usual kind of like silks and whatnot. More of the stall holders seem to be paying attention to you than you noticed before. Though that could just be the thought put into the back of your mind from Loftar at the gate. But it certainly seems that they're clocking you and watching you as you move over. And any that you approach kind of look at you a little bit guarded. and you kind of ask around, and everybody kind of like, as soon as you kind of ask for old Kelder, everybody looks to an empty space in the marketplace where a space with a single stall. What's your business? Asking after old Kelder. The store holder says.
I encountered her out by the gate a couple of days ago. I just, she had a bit of a kerfuffle. I just wanted to check she was okay.
It was about a week or so ago.
Oh, a week or so ago. Yeah.
Just the timeline.
Insert appropriate timeline here.
Yeah. You'll be part of those dwarves that scared off the bandits.
Yeah. I was present.
The whole countenance changes. Well, yes. Well, it's a shame that you weren't around a few days ago. She got broken into, and since then she's forgone her place in the market. Won't come out. Somebody needs to kind of go around there and check that she's okay.
Where is she located? I will collect my compadres and we will go see about this.
I think she was in the old quarter. Gertrude. Where did old Kelder live? Oh, she was down in the old quarter, wasn't she? Yeah, but whereabouts in the old quarter? This dwarf's got to go and check in on her. Oh, that's a lovely thing to do. Somebody should check in on her. We haven't seen her in ages, so let's go check. I don't know. I don't know exactly where she. I'll tell you who will know. Let's see now. What's that? Gudrun. She is the biggest gossip in the marketplace. Gudrun. The old washerwoman kind of comes. Eee! What's up, Gertrude?
Female voice number 2.
Yeah,
Terry
Jones.
two.
Oh, look, Terry Jones is back.
What's up? Where does old Kelder live? She lives in the old quarter. Whereabouts? Oh, she lives on the corner of Main Street and East Street. Yeah, she's got an apartment there. She's broken into, somebody should go down and check in on her. Things aren't what they used to be. It used to be more neighbourly than this. It's gone downhill ever since King Bard raised the city, even though that's when I came here and I've never known anything since before then. Yeah, okay, Gudrun. On your bike, love. Oh, what's a bike? Not been invented yet.
Neither have apartments, have they?
Oh yeah, they got they built Riverside apartments, a whole new development. I've been problems selling them since the crash of 2947. That is female voice 2 of 2. I think you'll find.
Knocked it out of the park, though. You've got to specialise, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
I do have the visualisation of the old washerwoman, so it's all good.
With a tub of clothes. Going out river to bang him against some rocks. And that might be the episode name. Anyway, so you're kind of like given directions to kind of get down there. I've got nothing to eat this cake with. But anyway.
So it wasn't a gift, it was torture.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Okay, yep, so you find out where she lives. And also the fact that everybody says somebody should go down there and nobody has.
Standard. I might actually go scope out the place before I go find the others.
Okay.
Just to see what I can see. Like, I'm nonchalantly, not stealthily or anything, just pretend like I'm walking through and see if I can see anybody paying particular attention to where I've been directed to.
So you're kind of like looking around at people, trying to pay attention to stuff. Make me an awareness roll.
Not the best. Oh, that'll do. A Gandalf.
Gandalf, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So either because you're staring at other people to see if they're staring at you, which means that they're staring at you because they think you're staring at them, or because you're a dwarf, kind of like covered in like mud
I was going to say, are we still covered in mud and orc blood?
Yeah, basically. So you're not quite sure if that's why you're standing out, or if there's just a level of wariness, or if there's been a break-in, people are on edge. There's any number of things, but lots of people are clocking you, and like paying attention to you. Mostly are clocking you and paying attention to you until you move past that point of like interest. You know, you've gone past their store, they're no longer that interested. You've gone past their home, they're no longer that interested, so on and so forth. And there's nobody who is paying. You know, nobody's kind of like jogging on ahead or doing any of that kind of stuff. That you can kind of tell. And as you're walking down towards the old quarter, and you kind of came here, I think, exploring in your time before as well. Yeah. And now that you're kind of walking back, you can tell that definitely the old quarter has been built on the old city of Dale. So Dale is predominantly kind of like white stone, open plazas, canals, like I say, like Florence at its height, lots big bell towers and such like. But the old quarter is really more of a kind of like Tudor style, which stone is too expensive and too difficult to work in for the people's means. So as you start to kind of like move in there, the buildings become timber frame, certainly for the second, third, possibly fourth stories, if there are 4 stories. They kind of lean across, creating shadows, shadowed walkways. And you can see just from the architecture that what is the ground floor here is the architecture that you expect from a first or even a second floor of a building constructed beforehand. So it's almost as if you would imagine that there are cellars or there are tunnels or dead space as the city has been built on top of the ruins of Smaug's desolation. And kind of the starting point for the ground floor is actually maybe a floor above what it would have been in Dale's history. And as you kind of start to move a little bit more into that wattle and daub, the overhanging of the streets, the shouts of below as human excrement and piss is shoved out of the window and smelly channels run through.
Maybe Torg has a point.
Hanging baskets that possibly brought colour earlier in the season and now start to turn. So they're more faded, and flowers that need deadheading. Groups of young men leaning in doorways, talking in conspiratorial whispers. Many of them have got wooden clubs or the odd dagger here and there, kind of stop and watch you as you kind of go past. You can kind of like feel, that as they kind of step off a little bit to guide you along.
Blood.
Yeah. And as it's kind of like later in the day, women and men in servants' garb are making their way back home, chatting away, and single men as labourers are coming back from whatever kind of job and task they kind of use to turn coin or food. And you follow the directions down to a 2-story tenement building. Looks as if it's subdivided, kind of out. Stone base, wooden second story, kind of steps going up. And you can see that there are shutters around the apartment that you imagine was Director's been Old Kelders, and those shutters are very clearly been smashed off, smashed open, and pushed through. But they're all and there's a stone courtyard. The bottom is a stone courtyard, and you can see some signs of kind of like embroidery work in there, as if that's like the Old Kelder's work room.
I'm not going to stop. I'm going to kind of like make it look like I've just noticed it because it was damaged, rather than be like, oh, like when you walk past like a broken in car window or something, and then pretend like I'm purposefully kind of like heading somewhere else. And then try and loop back around and find the guys. Yeah,
okay. And then you kind of like head back around. You kind of like get back up to the market area. You don't see these guys. You start to maybe move towards the commons, and they're coming back, smelling a little of a veal, patting their fat bellies from where they had boar and vegetable stew.
So some of us did some work.
And then kind of like chatting, and you meet on the edge of the commons.
Well, you look like you've had a good time. Just to bring you back down to my level again. Yes, we were duped. While we were away, old Kelda got knocked in again, and she's currently apparently holding up in her house.
Knocked up.
Yeah.
Knocked
in.
Say, she is old Kelda.
Yeah. Knocked in.
She's been knocked in.
Yes, they were apparently. So whatever it was they were after last time, they're apparently still looking for it. Who knows? I don't know if they got it yet. I was going to wait for you guys. Any news from you? Do you agree to us to partake in any ridiculously dangerous enterprise?
Not in Kelda.
There is some good news, and that is that we've enlisted the help of well-seasoned veteran warriors.
Always good to hear.
13 of them in total, I believe, although I may have miscounted. I'm on, I believe, my 13th ale. But there is also bad news, which I'll fill you in on the details of that.
A drink.
When drink? What? Who said drink? There is a small matter of a cold drake, which
agreed us to do what? Oh well, I suppose
we're there to help. So look at it as a research project.
To be fair, as the last fight proved, you need me to finish off most of the kills anyway, so fine.
Yeah, you do have a good habit for being in the right place at the right time, sir.
But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But yes, I do think we should go see old Kelda now.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I will lead the way post haste in that direction.
Right behind you.
Should we?
Good, because I know the way.
Need we
be useless.
Need we be wary of our surroundings?
I didn't notice anyone noticing me beyond the fact they were noticing me because I'm covered in shit and blood. But
whose shit is it?
Mine. It was a fast march.
I knew about that.
And we were fighting orcs. Yes, but no, I didn't notice anything to notice. If that makes any notice. Notice.
No, it's a noticeable achievement.
But you have been noticed, right?
I am clearly noticeable. But yes, anyway.
So you get 12 Keldas.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, just moving. And the old quarters, as I've described to Loftar, you guys don't really recognise the architecture stuff because that's more about.
I've bored the shit out of them on the journey there.
You've been told about the architecture stuff and how this flying buttress would have never been that low down. So clearly that must have been a third story. And this corniche was typical of the more Baroque Dale period. And as you can tell,
there's secret passageways potentially underneath, which could be full of treasure.
And as you can tell, this Romanesque arch is well before the Dwarves adopted the Gothic arch as a stylistic element, and that was driven really from the work that had been done in Moria at the time. But it's in like a droning tone.
Yeah, like I'm holding up a sign. It's like it's a walking tour we're on.
Sir, I'm glad that you and dwarves like you are there to learn all of these important things, so that I don't have to.
Well, look at it this way: if we didn't build anything, no one would come try and knock it down, and you'd have no reason to try and protect anything.
And thus, the cycle of life is fulfilled. So you're
eat the grass.
You're outside. You're outside Old Kelda's.
I do believe kind of talkiness is your forte.
Is it dark now? Is it night time? Well and truly.
It's getting towards twilight.
Okay.
And there are candlelight starting to appear in some of the rooms.
Okay.
You can probably read just at the moment.
Okay, so So I would like to just have a look around the house and around the area to look for kind of possible trapdoors to cellars and low down windows where I might be able to peep through, and also just to sort of see what's going on in the immediate round old Kelt's house.
Okay, give me either an awareness or an explore roll.
Explore.
I'll presumably pointed out all features of buildings like trapdoors and things on part of the architectural tour.
Yeah, I'm coming at it from how do I sneak in here without breaking something loudly and making a big scene. Sort of.
I told you, this is her house. Like, the door's here.
I'll just
No, it's over here.
I got a Gandalf and a 4 and a 5.
So the best way to sneakily break in is probably the way that you assume was sneakily broken in before. But as you're kind of like doing that, you can hear sounds from within. It looks like a small fire has just been lit.
The sounds of crackling.
Yeah, that's right. And kind of like a and then a creak as a kind of like rocking chair.
Yeah, we should give her a knock, I think.
You gonna knock her up?
Huh.
She's already been knocked in.
Maybe later.
Knock her out as well.
I've heard tale that there's a bloke, a quite legendary figure now, it might be said, from the Wolfswood, who likes to knock out women.
I may have heard that as well. Yes.
The Wolfwood, you say?
Yes.
An interesting tale for another.
Yeah,
time.
I heard it in a tavern on my way over here.
Okay.
So he became a legend.
Infamous rather than famous, one might say.
So, a sigh, a fire. It sounds like probably old Kelder is in there. So
Well, I've told you it's her house.
it
They
is
said
her
she has to
house,
be out.
but these are strange times when a hobbit can be a man and a man can.
You
be a
really need
hobbit.
to step away from this hobbit. Anyway.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Knock on the door.
take my mattock and tap 3 times on the door. I'm trying to sound official. I guess.
Twice on the pipes, if the answer's no.
Okay, so you tap 3 times on the door. You hear and kind of the rocking chair, and then and some footsteps. Who is it?
It's the city guard, old
Kelder,
Kelder.
love, we the dwarves that you met the other day, we saved you some bandits.
Shush.
We're just coming to check you're all right.
No. Look.
I recognise.
No, it's the city guard.
No, we're not the city guards. Don't be stupid. Yes.
I'm confused. So, could you make me a persuade roll, please? And Torg, could you also make me a persuade roll?
Okay, I'll jump in. This is Alaric of Wolfswood. You do want to let me in?
She opens it. She's wearing an Alaric t-shirt. She's reading Alaric fanfic. I don't need to see the dice.
I like the fact that it was like my persuade roll came out as.
Is that a Gandalf? Oh, a Gandalf.
Gandalf,
okay.
great success.
Okay.
Can I use riddle just because I'm basically trying to lie? I'm trying to convince her that
okay.
It's the city guard.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to sound like a Dalish man. It doesn't work. I rolled 11.
What if you're both successful? That's still a problem for us, isn't it?
It would be whoever got the best quality success. She's the one. Oh, I recognise that voice. And kind of like the door opens a crack, and she kind of looks at.
It's a very unique voice, a softly spoken dwarf.
Have you joined the guard?
I don't know what he's talking about. Can we come in? We just wanted to check you're all right.
I'm fine.
Come on, let us in. We need to talk to you about what happened.
I don't need to know. Nothing happened here.
Yes, it did.
And she kind of like opens it slightly wider. Well,
Thank you.
Seeing as it's you. And she
We might be able to tidy up your walls a bit as well. You're who's best at crafting? Can anyone sort out a shutters? At least tidy and make it a bit less penetrable.
We could.
She kind of walks back across to her. I don't really have any chairs or.
That's fine. We're stout.
We can stand.
So you kind of go into what would probably be a small room, in any case, but would have probably been described as cozy. But it just feels cold now. There's such an insubstantial kind of fire, even though there is kindling and there are logs set in anticipation of the winter. The fire is cold, and that's keeping the stone cold. It smells musty.
Can I go attempt to stoke the fire and make it a proper fire, please?
Yeah, you can kind of go and
And if there's any candles around on like lanterns and stuff,
there are candles and
try and make it look a bit more homely and less like a cell.
Yeah, and they haven't been lit for a few days. And there's food on the side, bread that's stale, hobbits that sneak in under cover of darkness. Food on the side, stale bread, vegetables that are starting to turn. There's a pot of stew that would have normally been kept warm throughout, but it's kind of like being left cold. She still looks to be in her night clothes. And you can see that there's kind of abandoned embroidery on the side. Bed's not made, all that kind of stuff. So you start to busy around and start to kind of stoke the fire, build it up a little bit, get the kettle on. There's plenty as you kind of like go towards the stone basin. The water, it's not brackish, but it's certainly not been pulled for a few days either. And there's loads and loads of kind of like tea bags and mugs and all that kind of stuff, which has not offered you anything. There's a blackened kettle that sits on a hook close to the fire that's not filled.
While I'm doing the fire and everything, I will literally just start tidying up and put it in, straighten the place up, put it in line, kind of putting the stew back on the heat, kind of putting the kettle on.
Is there any smoking paraphernalia? Does Kelda, have I seen her smoke before? No. There's no smoking paraphernalia.
It's always a good start.
Is there a blanket or something nearby?
Oh yeah, there's loads of blankets.
Okay, so I'll pass her. I'll pick up the least sort of flea infested blanket, and
so you pick up what's quite fine textile. And as you kind of like pick it up and kind of like shake it down a little bit, the pattern on the blanket, this embroidered swan, it's almost kind of like it lifts its wings. And kind of like, the light catches it and the flames, and it just looks as if it's going to spring out. And everybody knows, swans can have your finger off, break a wrist, and all that kind of stuff. So you slightly recoil from the realism of it. And the reeds flutter, and the water looks as if it shimmers kind of like a little bit. And you kind of go and take it and put it around. And she doesn't resist at all. She's just gazing off into the fire. And you catch kind of like tears welling in her eyes as they kind of like come.
Kelda, why do you cry? Is it this blanket I've laid upon you? Does it remind you of something?
She blinks away and
I would like to make an insight roll if I can.
Let's start with some preparatory rolls. So let's have some insight rolls around from everybody. Now that we have had sufficient scene set.
Yep. So that's
Uh,
3 dice for me.
a 9 because I only get the feet.
Okay.
Hmm. 14.
Okay. So that's a success.
Okay, cool.
That's 12 for me.
Okay, so just the one success.
I just wanted to just to interject. I want to make myself useful as well, so I'll probably help out Cirque a little bit. Just make myself.
Shutters.
Yeah, and I did.
One's inside, but just try and rehang them so it's not like hanging off the hinges and stuff.
Yes, and if possible, I want to do some sort of searching, but obviously, not being dodgy. But if I can, I want to ascertain: has there been a break-in? What? Just a quick look of if there's any disturbance, if there's any problems. Maybe just looking for some clues, but I can do that later.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna hang the shutter, tidy stuff up. Use circus is just generally getting the place to be more habitable, and Torg is kind of like there with a blanket, just kind of seeing the tears and such like. Okay. Cool. So you've got 1 success, I think, 1 success dice to spend, and you remember you can kind of give that to others if you require.
Yep.
So you said to remind you of everything. You wanted to make an insight roll.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. I guess I'm just trying to gauge the sort of source of her anguish, whether it was that specific moment with the blanket, or whether this is just some deeper thing that she's in.
Okay.
So roll.
Yeah.
3 dice. 8 on the feet, and then a 2, 1, and 5, so 16.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole setup here. So you've seen old Kelda before, and she was a vital, engaging, and engaged personality. She was bringing cheer to the child, chatting amiably with the family. So you would have had her penned down as an outgoing, extroverted, kind of like community inspired person. So this whole situation is very much not her. So whatever happened has knocked her badly. And it could just be a response to the humanity of people visiting her and caring for her. It could have been the blanket, the quality of the blanket that caused the tears. But more than that, you can't establish. But it's something has knocked her back and has caused her to become insular as opposed to outward looking, as you would have imagined her to have been.
Okay, thank you. Kelda, are you warm enough? Is the fire is just beginning to catch properly? Come, sit closer to it. Is the blanket to your liking? Is it comfortable?
I love this blanket. I remember when I first embroidered it. I just couldn't bear to part with it. I couldn't bear to sell it. It brings me so much joy.
It is incredible craft. Indeed, when I lifted it up, I thought the swan were about to spread its wings and fly off the blanket itself into the room.
It's just one of my first pieces that I made when I came here. I don't think I can make that again. I just don't. I don't have it in me anymore.
But why? But why, Kelda? What has happened in the last week that would make you lose your love of such incredible craft?
I've been burgled.
Think who?
I don't know. 5 days or so ago. The workshop I don't leave anything there. There are no tools left in the workshop overnight. So they came in here. They just took the needle. Took my precious needle. Yes, I was safe. I wasn't harmed.
And they took the needle. Were you here?
I was asleep, or they didn't wake me.
So you didn't see them?
No, I didn't. It must have been the men that attacked me outside. Why? I don't know. But I've lost my passion. I've lost my passion.
And was Clovis among them? Do you know?
She looks blank. She's kind of like Clovis, the fuck Clovis, essentially. I didn't see any of them. I don't know.
Have you been speaking with the Hobbit Clovis? Halfling. He would appear.
Oh, I saw him at the gate. That's
right. That's who I'm referring to. You haven't spoken to him, though.
No, maybe not that I can recall. I'm sure I would have remembered. I love the children so, bringing joy to them and to their families, the young and old. That's what I've just lost my passion. I just can't do it anymore. I didn't realise I was so tied to that tool. I thought it was my skill, but I mean, look at this. And she kind of points at one of the abandoned embroideries. The spark has gone.
But surely you can use another needle.
I've tried.
It's just metal.
But the evil of the world. Why would somebody just steal something like that? It was, I don't know, a special needle, I guess.
When did you acquire the needle, Kelda? And where?
For the first moment, her face lights a little. He was a handsome man, fair of face and warm of spirit. Yeah, he had muscles, but he was so gentle. I was a maiden when we met. I'm not sure my Ma or Da were so keen on him. He, being a traveller and not perhaps having the dowry that they imagined. But the summer that he was here, every embroidery I've made since then has captured the warmth of that summer. There's nothing quite like the feeling that you have when you feel safe in the arms of the man you love. He gave me the needle. And
where?
I've used it ever since.
It's a beautiful, magical story, Kelda.
It means that when I use the needle, my hands are like as if they were that age again. And she holds out her hands and it trembles slightly. There's no tremble with a needle. I can bring all of that love and all of that warmth and stitch it into my embroidery or my tapestry. And I can only imagine it is that light that brings them to life and communicates itself to the viewer. I pick up my other needles and I do not have the dexterity, for I do not have the emotions.
And why would someone steal a needle from you, Kelda? How would how would they know that one needle in a house, which is a fine house, but surely not a house that would house something so valuable and treasured, and to find it would be like finding a small thing in a big thing. I'd use
a needle in a haystack.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I am well known throughout Dale, and I have had many offers for the needle over the years. Travellers and tinkerers and nobles and dwarves, even. But I can't turn it away. How could I turn away those memories? And how could I turn away? She wipes away her tears. I guess I've always known that it is the needle and not my skill that brings the joy into the garments.
Has anyone shown interest recently? Like, who did you turn it down the offer to last? Before the issue at the gate?
This was whilst I was still in Esgaroth, before Smog was defeated.
Who was that?
I did not know their name. 'Twas nothing to me, one of a stream. But I am, I guess, famous a little for my work and for the needle. And it would not be hard to find. I keep it in the chest just there. And it's the finest chest that I possess. You guys, Cirque and Torg make law or riddle rolls.
I would like to make a riddle roll.
I'm going law.
I'm going to use my bonus die as well. So I've got a total of 3. 8 on the feet, 2, 3, and a 5, so 18.
18, nice.
15 regular.
15 regular, okay. So it sounds as if the needle has some magic about it. And it sounds as if the needle is possibly elven made. It would be more akin to their ability to take the kind of emotions of the world and bring them about within the embroidery and so on and so forth. And in fact, Torg, you recall your father talking at one point about the treasures of Erebor that were saved. And in that list, there was a silver needle that was known to bring to life the garments it was used upon. And when Smaug claimed the Lonely Mountain as his own, the silver needle was saved from that ruin, but was forced to be sold to drapers in Lake Town to pay for food through a difficult winter. Perhaps it's the same.
That is interesting. So this, your long lost love, Kelda. I won't call you old Kelda because it will be apparent of me. Your lover, he was from Esgaroth.
He was a merchant travelling through, but I do not know if he found the needle in Esgaroth or if he brought it with him.
Where had he travelled from, Kelda?
He came from the east. He was an Easterling.
He was an Easterling.
I loved his olive skin. And his ways and his
an olive?
And his muscles. And his muscles and his
have I told you of how well
you've told us
he was muscled? 2 seconds, I need to go and do water.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Never did I think I would be investigating the disappearance of a magic needle in an old woman's house.
What's the does the level of damage to the outside, actually I'll come out of the voice because it's me speaking, look like it tallies with her not being aware she was broken into?
I mean, It was
How drunk would she have to have been to have slept through it?
not that drunk. I mean, so one of the shutters is definitely kind of like smashed. But you could have muffled it with a blanket and smashed it, kind of thing. So it's not entirely without reason.
Okay.
I would like to pick up another blanket or something else that she's embroidered, just as she's talking, and kind of just inspect it. I guess be amazing if there's any kind of something that really symbolizes her romance with this mysterious Easterling trader. You know, if there's anything that depicts a couple on the long lake, with a sunset on it or something like that.
Can I have a rummage through that box she talked about? See if it's in there.
Yeah.
Just pretend like you're looking at where she said it was.
There must be something symbolic around the place that.
There's lots of motifs of two birds, one light skinned or one light feathered and one dark feathered, kind of
Almost
like
olive
birds.
coloured.
Yeah.
Is one of the birds really muscly?
One of them's got a six pack. Well, one's a man or a peahen and a peacock, kind of like style. So as you're kind of like fixing stuff up, Loftar, let me get my notes back. You see a small child kind of like racing off down the alleyway. A couple of minutes later, you see the small child pointing at the at old Kelders with a man, and the child's like, oh, like kind of doing about your height would be on him.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
And then the man presses a coin into the kid's hand, and starts to run off.
So am I? Yeah, I'm inside the house and I can see it through the window.
So you're fixing the shutter.
Sorry, at that time I'm outside the property or inside?
You're inside.
Okay. Can I tell if the man can see me? I mean, presumably he does, but...
It would be quite hard to, because it's twilight, so the light's not so grey, and you could probably just dodge behind kind of the side, and you've not been leaning out of the window fixing it. You kind of been you've had to close the shutter to kind of like put it up, so you saw it through the slats of the shutter style.
Okay, so I will probably pause what I'm doing. Try to remain hidden if I can. Happy to roll for it, or just to observe the man. What's he doing? Whether he
at the
approaches.
moment he's kind of standing in an alleyway, just watching old Kelder's place.
Is there any way I could sneak out to him without being too, dwarven about this?
Just dive head first through the window and like combat roll your way.
It's probably not possible to sneak out to him because you're going to have to cross essentially a road. There is traffic. There are people coming up and down, but it's not like a main thoroughfare or anything like that.
I just, I'll stay in post.
Yeah.
Just keep my watch. I'll try to remember the location in case we need to leave the property and then go there again. Some sort of investigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you found this blanket, Torg, of the peahen and the peacock, emblematic of two lovers in their prime.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of use. I know nothing about embroidery and stitching.
Are you talking about
like
Torg or Joe?
I'm talking about Torg. Yeah, so
Okay.
I actually know a little bit as Joe because my wife does a bit. But so I'd like
Joe's
to.
wife.
Yeah. And he has to feign an interest.
yeah.
That's really good. I'd like
Needs to recognise keywords when repeated back to in the sentence.
So I'd like to use craft to just sort of thumb the stitching and turn it over and just look at the make of it, just to kind of give me something to talk about with her from a crafting and embroidery point of view.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So 3. I have 3 in craft, and it's a favoured skill, so I have 3 dice. Not a great roll. 13 in total.
So you can recognise a job well done. It's tidy. The hallmarks of consistent quality. It's really some of the best embroidery that you've seen in terms of the look of it, and surprisingly it looks almost as good from the back as it does from the front, and ordinarily it looks a lot worse the rear side. But
we got any group points of hope?
Yeah, you refresh that every session.
Do you want to spend one of them, Joe? Because it's a favoured skill.
May as well, yeah. So it would add
to success.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
So on top of the fact that you recognise it as being of good general craftsman and professionally and pride, and you can feel the job well done in there. There's also particular stitches that she kind of uses so that they catch the light slightly differently, which is part of the technique that's been produced to make it feel lifelike. And it's as you move it that the light catches things in these different ways. And it's a particularly heavy material, so the needlework has been quite fine, even though it's quite heavy material.
Okay, cool. That's quite a lot to work with. So. I'm going to hold this piece up to the dim light, and say that Kelda, you say that your work is all down to the needle, but here you can see the type of stitch you've used on this piece, and the weight of this material that can hold such detailed stitching, and the motif itself. These are more than just the mark of some magical trinket. This is your skill. This is your ability, Kelda, that has made this thing. With the help of this needle, but without your vision to create this piece, it would not exist. From there, I want to kind of lead her into this motif, which this appears in a lot of your work. Tell me more. How did you come upon this idea? The 2 birds, one dark, one light. Is this your worldview?
Make me inspire roll.
Cool, thank you. 2 dice, 2 in inspire. Bad roll again. 5. It's not worth invoking.
A total of 5.
I could get it to 12 if I spend.
Yeah, so target number is 10 because of the prop and such like that you're using.
I'll spend a point of fellowship, hope, whatever it's called.
Yeah. So technically speaking, you spend a point of hope and it refreshes for the fellowship pool.
Okay, yeah. So I get +7 because of my favoured heart.
Okay, 12. Yeah. So target number 10 because you set it up with a crafts roll, which I was thinking, how would you benefit from that mechanically? Well, it'd bring the target number down because of that being used as a prop, essentially. I heard in 2nd edition they're going to adopt a similar mechanic to Advantage in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, so you get to re-roll the feat dice twice and choose the best, or if the circumstances are ill-favoured, you get to re-roll the feat die and have to take the worst.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a neat mechanic.
Yeah, that type of thing is kind of missing a bit. It's like creating an advantage in Fate.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Use skill to do that.
So she starts to cry again. But there's it's not like wailing sobs. It's just a pent up emotion, a dam being unleashed more than anything else. And she kind of like she wipes them away a little, and she says, "It's when we forget that all creatures were created equally, and we draw lines of an arbitrary nature around us, then we've lost hope. And it's then that the shadow has won, and the world is truly plunged into darkness. Though we might have lights and fires to burn and warm us, our hearts are extinguished. I loved him for him, not for any other reason. And there are those who cannot see past that, but it just doesn't matter. My observation is that in times of difficulty, we look for points of difference when we should look for points of similarity. And that's one of the reasons why I love to see the smiles on children's faces, and for them to see unity expressed in their clothes. Because it gives me hope that as they grow and become adults, they will seek unity in themselves. And then, as the free people have done through time immemorial, through all ages of this Middle Earth, we will be able to combine ourselves to fight the darkness. You can see orcs, and orc work is savagery and brutal in its destruction. But we have the ability to create within us. And that's why I choose these motifs, and why I focus on embroidering children's clothes and gifts for babies, hoping that they'll also grow into that themselves. And I see perhaps that there is some quality in the work that I produce. Perhaps.
Torg has kind of stood up and moved towards the fireplace, and he's standing close to the fire looking down, and kind of makes a little movement to
Cirque's there cutting onions.
Yeah, the air is thick in here. This fire is making my eyes water somewhat.
I'm glad that you came to see me. It has restored my faith.
I'm glad too of that, Kelda, and to hear you speak so eloquently of light and darkness. It brings light to darker corners of my own heart. You speak of shadow, Kelda. You have seen such things in your time.
I was raised within the lands of the desolation of Smaug. It has been my defining characteristic of my life. When the Free Peoples came together at the Battle of Five Armies, and when King Thorin was able to see past his dragon greed, and when King Bard and Thranduil reunited us all together, I had hoped that that would last. And so far, I think it mostly has. But I know that there are always those who are tugging at threads to unravel the embroidery, to spoil it in some way. I am worried that dwarves look to the past that they can't influence, rather than the future that they can. And age lets me look back on my own life and learn the lessons from it when I see my fellows without the history behind them to inform their future actions. But I'm just an old lady who had a skill, and perhaps there's a skill I can bring to bear again. Let's get the kettle on. And she kind of like stands and reaches out. Cirque, was it? Cirque? could you be a dearie and refill my bucket? And Loftar, down in the workshop, there's some smoked wood. It'll bring out a more pleasant smell to the flame.
Of course.
And Loftar, how's that shutter? Have you mended it?
Yeah,
It's been
is
there a
that
long time.
Loftar's he's actually still holding
is
it.
Is it fixed now?
Yeah, it's fixed. Yeah.
I wanted to make sure, obviously, it's properly secured and that no one can, or make it difficult for someone else to come in again.
Loftar's applied his weaponsmithing, and now the edges of it are sharper than razors.
I'll put some spikes, like in the places where you would normally.
He's gone home alone on the.
Yes. Was I able to have enough time to see about the entrance, the forced entrance? Was that someone just literally smashing through?
Yeah, very
crudely. Through her things.
Very crudely, yeah.
Is it? They knew what they were after. These kind of things I'm trying to ascertain.
Yeah, so it was surgical strike kind of thing. They kind of they knew what they're after. They took it. They left. And
then obviously there's some jewelry left and money. Probably nothing has been taken. Just that one thing in and out. Okay.
Kelda hasn't spoken about any jewelry. She doesn't look the type to be adorning herself with masses of jewelry and such like. But it's not been ransacked to the extent that you have to tell.
Okay. Is the man still there through the window?
He
if
is
I can
indeed,
see?
yes.
What's this Loftar? What's that you say of men? Did you say?
I come back. Sorry, I come back basically to because it seems like they're drawing me for tea. Clearly, because it's very important to have
Loftar,
a cup of tea.
What was this talk that you didn't mention about men?
You've been at the shutter for a long time. I just wanted to check you're okay. You were staring out the window with a glazed expression on your eye.
No, it's all good. The shutter's fixed now. I just wanted to make sure it's fixed properly. But I need to step outside. I need to step outside to see if it's looking good on the outside as well. So if you excuse me, I won't join you for tea. I'll just be right back. Okay.
Oh, off you go then. I was worried about that shutter.
So I think I'm just going to try and see if I can somehow watch the guy who's watching us.
Okay, so you head out. So you head out from the second floor. You head down some steps that go into kind of like the workshop, which is an open. There's an archway that leads into an open space, so there's no door or anything there. You kind of go down the steps. This guy takes a pace back further into the darkness of the alley, starting to turn his shoulder.
Is there no way I can sneak sort of... I appreciate I can't see the full picture here, but is there any way I can sort of attempt to stealth my way down there?
He can see you. There's no place for you to obscure yourself, break line of sight, hide. You can't maybe you can't even go out to swing around because there's no back entrance or anything. So I don't really see an opportunity to use stealth.
Where's he gone? Did he say anything to you, sir?
Kelda did ask him to head down into the workshop to get a log.
Yeah, I'll just go there and get some smoke wood or...
Okay, so as you kind of like start to rummage around, as you kind of like turn back, the figure has gone.
Okay, well I'll mention it to the group when we leave Kelda's. I don't want to obviously alarm her, so I won't mention it now.
Okay, so are you guys doing anything further? Have a cup of tea with Kelda. She seems to be in a lot better spirits. She's kind of like genuinely grateful that you kind of came here. The log that Loftar brings back is scented, kind of infused with some herbs or some spices or some such, and it's almost like incense. Without being overpowering, has a little bit of kind of like flavour and pleasantness to the room. Feels very kind of like cleansing, spiritual. as much as anything else.
Nice. I don't know that I can do much more. I mean, we could look in the craft box and look for stuff, but I think the thieves came in, they got what they wanted, and they left. But the one thing I'm kind of interested in is so Torg is rich, essentially. He's standard of living. So I would like to try. I would like to convince Kelda. I'd like to commission a piece, basically. So
Okay.
this the unity that you spoke of, Kelda, between
Yes.
the people, the folk
peoples of the north.
of Middle Earth. I would like something to remember that by. I wonder if you might make me a small something. I will pay you, of course. Something that maybe not depicts it openly, but something that signifies that sense of unity that maybe dwarves and men and elves can live as one.
Yes, I will think upon it. Maybe a gold ring.
A gold ring. Gold ring.
Maybe with some inscription around. No, she doesn't.
A precious gold ring.
precious gold ring. I will think upon this, and it will take a little time, but
of course,
come back. Maybe a week or so as I consider the pattern that I will produce for you.
Should you decide to make things again, I would purchase such a piece from you.
I appreciate that. Well, if that is
so we should go. It's late, and
it is getting late.
And you
yes.
must.
I will sleep well tonight, I feel.
I hope so, Kelda. We will stay nearby for some time just to keep watch over your house and make sure things are well in the street.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm really pleased with guardsmen such as yourself. The streets will be a lot safer than they once were.
So it's just shaking his head. I'll be down in a second, guys. I just want to have a word with Kelda.
Thank you for the tea.
Okay, so
You're welcome. So it's that.
Now, after they've gone,
Yep.
I'm going to teach her the spell for opening and closing, so that she can magically seal the door.
Oh, okay.
Am I allowed to do that?
That would be incredibly anti-ethical. The dwarven approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, it's just okay. Fine.
You're the commission or the regulatory body that regulates.
So you can do it. Yeah, it's uncertain whether she would be able to do that or not. But it's one of those dwarven secrets.
would you
probably be open for
corruption from something like that?
It just says I have a fragment of I have a fragment of the spell that must be recited in front of a door or gate to magically lock it, or recited backwards to open it if locked. No effect on this thing that's blocked, and requires a specific spell. Blah 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 blah. Spell starts working as soon as you finish reciting it.
So you can cast it. But you can't teach her this. Well, you can try to teach her the spell, but it's ancient dwarven law. That would be really frowned upon to be leaving the dwarven culture. You obtain it from the fact that you're dwarven culture, and in Tolkien's milieu, the dwarves do not share their secrets. So you have a dwarven name that only you ever know, and you do not ever share that dwarven name with anybody else. As an example.
Oh, what's everyone's dwarven name then? Fine.
So I'm not saying you could do, but I.
No, if it's against what wouldn't happen, that's fine.
It would be very much against the teachings that you would have had imparted to you.
There's a likely investigation. No.
Seal her into her house, though.
Oh, you lock her up in there so you never get out again.
Seal her in. Do it.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I won't wait behind, and I'll come back downstairs with everyone else. Then.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Don't want to kind of like cut across what your idea was there, but
No. If it's not what would happen, that's fine.
Well,
I
it would be.
agree that teaching it is a kind of step way beyond just casting it, and then you've got the added thing of it just it doesn't vibe with their culture. Very insular.
Cool.
Okay, so you kind of head down the stairs. Yep. Okay. What are you doing now, guys? It's pretty much dark now.
Ambling out like everything's fine because I have no information to tell me otherwise. Sauntering out.
Just checking the area where there were two figures there before.
Come on, Loftar, what are you lagging behind for?
There were what?
Is there anything in the...
No, there's nothing there. They were just hanging there because it gave them a good view.
Okay. Well, I did, so I did share the information with the group.
Share.
Oh,
I've seen the... when I was fixing the shutters, there were... There was a boy who basically got paid by a man who then carried on observing the house.
All right.
When I went to pick up the wood, he sort of withdrew and have not returned.
Where was he?
Someone was watching us.
Yeah, it's just over there. We can go investigate if you want.
Watching us or watching Kelders?
We're likely being watched right now in that case. So let us continue as if we're not aware that we're being watched. So,
well, one or the other could be true, I think, Cirque. In my view, Cirque, one or the other, perhaps both could be true. They were watching Kelda, maybe us, or both.
What did this person look like?
I don't pay particular attention to filthy man. No,
he looked like a filthy man. That's a fair description. He was kind of like maybe 5'10" in height, kind of scrawny build, scraggy beard, kind of unkempt hair, labourer's clothes. It was mostly in shadow. You couldn't find any distinctive features. Yeah, had a grim countenance. I really make awareness rolls since you're now kind of like a little bit on edge.
Ooh, awareness rolls are good.
I'm trying to make an awareness roll whilst having the appearance of not being aware.
Yeah.
3. I've got 3.
I got 8. Yeah.
14 just. Well, 14.
So you kind of all...
a 9, a 2, and a 3.
Yeah, okay. So so none of you see people watching you beyond kind of like the norm that you've had around. There's not very many people on the street now. You're right on the edge of the old quarter. You're not deep into it. You're not in Brokenstone, which is the kind of real dodgy area, so to speak. Lights are going out because candles are expensive. Fires are burned low. People get up with the dawn so they can work through to the dusk. So it's a quietish area.
Is it worth us sort of taking turns, maybe watching her place tonight?
Well, let us think about how to do this without appearing suspicious. So,
well, I think we probably want to wash off the blood and the shit.
So we kind of need to go to the pub, get a room.
Yes, is there a nearby tavern we could somewhere where we could reasonably get back here for?
So you're looking for an inn with rooms. You're looking for a tavern. Okay. Yeah, so the inn that you stayed at before, the name of which I can't remember, but that's maybe a 20-minute walk.
Is there anything closer?
Not in. This isn't really your in style area.
Yeah.
Or just like, is there anything renting a room?
This is still near the marketplace.
It's a little distance from the marketplace, and the inn that you're thinking of is close to the marketplace.
Okay. Are we
20
anywhere
minutes
near
isn't
the?
bad.
Are we anywhere near the keys?
The keys are across the old quarter, so it's probably 20 minutes-ish that way as well, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. Yeah, we probably could have cleaned ourselves up at old Kelder's place, you know, if we'd have thought about this.
Mm. Well, I'm probably clean from like mid sort of elbow down to wrist from washing up.
Yeah.
The rest of me is
So stood there with his marigolds. I think I'm all right.
so we head back to that inn. If we head to the inn, get kind of thinking and make a bit of a plan, I suspect, is what's needed.
My concern is that we're being watched now, and that Kelder is probably being watched as well.
So maybe rotate through them. Does somebody want to stay?
But the thing is, if we
Why would they be watching her
to,
if they've already stolen it?
that's one point. But the other one is, if we decide to watch Keldas, then we're explicitly letting them know that we are split because there's one of us watching, and two, that we're onto them or we're onto something. So
But who watches the Watchman?
Well, exactly.
They've already seen us at Kelder's house.
Yeah.
So they know that we know that it's been stolen.
Yeah.
They know that we know.
Do they know that we know that they know that it's been stolen? Do they know that we know that they're watching it?
At this point, I'd suggest a change of subject.
Yeah, I could do with an ale. I need an ale and a wash.
I suspect they've got what they wanted from her, and we might be the targets of their thing. So, in which case, we probably want to get as far from her as possible,
and probably stick together as well.
Oh, you need me to finish off your orcs again, do you, Loftar?
Always.
Thank you.
They have what they want from Kelder, so the only thing left for them to do would be to take her out of the equation. But in one sense, it's too late for that because she's already told us everything she could.
And they've already. It depends what the equation is. They've taken her out of it by the fact that she can't make the things with the magic needle no more. So unless if their goal was to stop her making pretty tapestries, they've achieved that. If their goal was to steal the needle, they've achieved that. I don't know what more they'd want.
And she's not even a witness because she hasn't seen or known. She doesn't know anything about them. So.
Well,
it strikes me as a place where a lot of people don't see things.
The bandits were trying to take the needle from her when we first arrived in Dale, and this Longo appears to be the king of the bandits, and this Clovis appears to be Longo. So I suggest
potentially
we get to the root of the problem until we know any better.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with just chasing bandits.
That's Clovis.
Or
bandits, Longo, Clovis. The root
is Clovis, as I understand it, although it's hard to know exactly where these routes lead.
Yeah.
I think we go to the pub,
have
we
another
get cleaned up, and we make a plan. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Wait for this whole thing to blow over.
Indeed. Dogs can't look up, you know.
Cirque, where do you find this information?
In books. It's where it all is. Knowledge. To the pub.
Perhaps we should go to the library instead. Let's go to the
not dressed in blood and shit. They won't let us in, and I'm not losing my library card.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, we'll abandon Kelder, I think, and go to the tavern.
I don't think we're abandoning her. I think we're taking the threat away from her.
Well, let us appear nonchalant. As if we haven't been trying to work out the.
We've been
entire-
stood in the street shouting all this for about 20 minutes, so
Now,
they
I
know
think we
that
can
what
discuss
we
it.
know about they know.
So
Well, I think we can discuss it on the way to the inn. I think.
you nonchalantly work your way
Whisper
through to
about
the
it.
inn. Kind of like the inn is it's fairly busy, but not packed. And you secure rooms fairly.
So it's all right. Torg's
quickly.
rich.
And
Get us a suite.
and you're kind of like baths, steaming water, relax, meet for a late supper, either in your room or rooms or down in the common room.
I would like
I
to
think
take
in
my
a room.
supper in the common room, if I may.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah, I'll sit on.
Just so everyone can overhear our plan. Good plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, so you're in the common room, refreshed, tankards of ale, change of clothes. So we can call the session there, if that's a natural break point, or we can carry on. I don't mind.
I think it's probably a natural break because then it lets us
Yeah.
set up our session objective and plan at the beginning of the next one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, did we?
Because we haven't done that for a while, which I was just realised.
Yeah, we didn't do any of the
Our
start
objective
session,
was to get back to the pub.
but that's fine.
Can we retrofit it if we do it now?
Yes, go for it.
It would, presumably, it would have been to get back to Thingy and to find out what was going to do some investigation.
It would be to make Kelda cry. That would be my objective.
Job done.
Yeah. So
Okay.
start of session, set the Eye of Mordor level. We're not really doing
not
that.
doing that.
Fellowship points, determine the party objective, and then set the scene and into the game. So basically, yeah, just party objective. Where were we?
We were in a field full of dead orcs.
We were looking at dead orcs. So I guess the objective would likely be around trace the intent and source of the threat involving the orcs. And then probably kind of pursue it or something like that.
Yeah, further investigations of said
Yeah,
threat.
that sounds concurrent to me. Yeah, that's what I would have
Yeah.
imagined you would have been doing. So that's cool.
Okay. So is that fleshed out enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. So do we get our...
Yep.
Well, shall I... Let me get my end of
Session
session.
checklist up.
Fellowship focus hope recovery. So we've got fellowship focuses.
Yeah.
I'm going to recover a point of hope because Cirque is not injured or anything.
I'm all good.
I'm going back up to 10 hope. Which is
Yeah,
nice.
everybody should be recovering a point of hope.
Yep.
I'm not down any, so.
We get 1 XP for turning up and 1 XP for meeting our objective.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Happy with
we're
that?
totally in
Both?
8
Yeah.
now.
Yep. So
We
does
both
anybody
turned
feel that they want to put forward a position for them to get extra XP, for a different companion to get extra XP, good role playing, story advancement, hindering themselves to keep in character?
Technically, that's end of adventuring phase.
Is it?
Paul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I was looking at that. It does seem a bit stingy, really, but yeah, it's end of adventuring phase only. And only 1 for doing something cool, playing the character with conviction or being respectful to the source material.
I don't think I'm ever going to survive to get the third one.
So you get
Me
your
neither.
1 XP for every 2 sessions as well that the adventuring phase included.
Okay.
All right, so we just get the 2 this time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on a total of 8 now, yeah? Everybody? Well, we've had 8.
Yes.
You might have spent them. You might have less than you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eight.
you should be on 4, shouldn't you, from the sessions?
Yep. Yep. Total of 8 with 4 to spend.
Yep.
Where's my pencil?
Total of 8. We have 8 to spend.
Mattock is definitely getting a boost when I get the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm bumping my sword next.
Okay. So,
The thing-
anything else in terms of checklist end of session?
That's it.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, it's only the fellowship phase where it gets crunchy
Gets
at all,
interesting.
really.
Okay, so let's just do some other admin then. So when do we want to play again?
Are we roughly sticking to about once a month?
That is my preference, though I have got I've got the other materials prepared, so I could do an in-betweener if we wanted to.
Oh, in-betweener would be good. 12th of September is the natural fit for an in-betweener, and then 26th of September for the...
We've allegedly got a Ghost of Saltmarsh on the 12th. I don't know if you play and thingy at the same time.
It wouldn't make masses of difference to me, to be perfectly honest. Alright, that's cool.
Or do you want to do the 19th?
No, the 19th is difficult because we've got Grandma Anne coming down.
We've got a thingy on the 18th as well, apparently. That's when we're back.
The Waterdeep game.
26th?
I could do the 12th. 12th is fine with me.
I don't know if I don't know if we've confirmed a time for Saltmarsh yet, though. We've got it in as the date, but I haven't got I've got it in as an all day and no confirmed.
Oh, okay. So we might play in the evening. Okay. So let's put the One Ring on the 12th, and we'll confirm.
Yeah.
The Saltmarsh time, because we typically try to play earlier in the day, don't we?
Let me shove that in the chat now for Saltmarsh.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'll check with you via Messenger because I don't have access to calendar at present.
Yeah, okay, cool. So tentatively, 12th of September for an in-betweener, and then the 26th of September for a other future subsequent session.
Cool.
And then we'll possibly move back to a monthly game. Depends upon prep time and such like and so forth. And I will get the schedule updated on Twitch and such like. And if you really want to know when we are definitely playing, possibly best to follow us on Twitter at Mercenary Off Topic, because I think we should try to be diligent about pushing session times through that.
Kind of week update and then an actual we're going live tonight type thing confirmation.
Yeah, that possibly best.
Yeah, I'm going to start using the Mostly Off Topic Twitter account a bit more now.
Cool.
Partly because we're actually following some quite interesting people, so we get some good stuff on there. So
cool.
We're
kind of like active back producing content as well, so makes sense.
So the 12th is just a standard timing for the session
to 11,
to happen.
So 7:30 to 11ish, 7ish to 11ish is
7 to 11
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm likely to be logging more towards 7:30 with possible. Not likely to be at 7, but yeah.
Okay. So let's just say 7:30 to 11ish then. Cool.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, so I've just stopped streaming, just like that. I didn't even say goodbye to anybody. I don't know if anybody was on the stream.
No, there was no one else in the chat at that point.
So anyway, goodbye, everybody, for YouTube.
See ya.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah.